Hello dear students, I welcome you all in today's lecture of managerial economics. As you know that in the last lecture we have studied about the elasticity, about the concept of the price elasticity of demand, and we have discussed that the elasticity refers to the percentage change in quantity demanded due to the percentage change in any factor. So there are different factors which are affecting the consumer demand. For example, the price of the commodity, the income of the consumer, the price of substitute goods, the taste of the consumer, and so on. These are different factors which are affecting the demand for the consumer commodity. So in the elasticity, we are going to measure the responsiveness of the consumer demand due to the change in any of these factors. If the change occurs due to the price of the commodity, and we are interested to measure the responsiveness of the quantity demanded, we will go for the price elasticity of demand. In the price elasticity of demand, we have discussed that there are two kinds of elasticities. The one is point price elasticity of demand and the second is arc price elasticity of demand. We are using these two concepts under the title of the price elasticity of demand. But in the last lecture we have discussed about the point price elasticity of demand, which refers to the change of responsiveness in quantity commanded due to a change in price, and the point price elasticity of demand measures the change in that price level occurred and the change in quantity demanded occurred due to a change in price on a single point on the demand curve. But there is one issue with the point price elasticity of demand, that is the increase or decrease in the price level, because the numerical value which we get after measuring the price elasticity of demand totally depends on the price increase or decrease. If the price increases, the quantity demanded decreases, and if the price decreases, the quantity demanded decreases. So there is an inverse relationship between the change in price as well as the change in quantity demanded. But if the price rises or falls, the numerical value in that case is totally different. Let me give you an example. For example, this is P1, which is the original price. For example, this is $2. P2, this is the new price, which is $3. Suppose Q1, which is the original quantity, for example 200 units. Now Q2, which is the new quantity demanded. So look at here, price increases, it means that quantity demand will decrease. Suppose this value is 150 units. How we will measure the price elasticity of demand? So this is the symbolic notation of the price elasticity of demand. As we know that price elasticity of demand refers to the percentage change in quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in the price of commodity. So we can write in the form of notation, we can write it as change in quantity demanded due to change in price multiplied by P divided by Q. This is the change in quantity demanded. We can write it as, for change in Q we can write as Q2 minus Q1. This is the change in quantity demanded. So Q2 minus Q1 whole divided by P2 minus P1. Delta phi means P2 minus P1 multiply by P divided by Q. This is the original price level and this is the original quantity demanded. So, now we are going to substitute. This is the case when price increases. For example, the case of an increase in price. The case of an increase in price increase from $2 to $3, and the result quantity demanded decreased from 200 units to 150 units. We are measuring the responsiveness of the change in quantity demanded occurred due to a change in price. So, Q2, by substituting the values, Q2 is equal to 150 minus Q1. This is Q1, 200 divided by P2 minus P1, P2 $3 minus P1 $2 multiply by P over Q. P is the original price, which is P1. So, 2 divided by Q. Q is the original quantity, that is Q1. So, 200. If we solve this numerical example, so 150 minus 200, this is minus 50, 3 minus 2, this is 1, multiply 2 divided by 100. So, minus 50 multiply 2, this is minus 100 divided by 200. This is 1, this is 2, this is equal to minus 1 over 2. This is the answer, minus 1 over 2. The answer, this numerical value is having a negative sign because of the law of demand. As we know that the price of a commodity increases, its quantity demand will decrease and vice versa. That's why this sign is negative. So, this was the original case. Now, I am substituting, I am changing these values from the original ones. For example, if P1, this was the case of an increase in price. Now, I am changing this case to the case of a decrease in price. For example, if the price decreases, so this was the original price and this was the new. Now, for example, this is the original price. For example, this is P1 and this is the new price, which is P2 in this example. Similarly, this is Q1 and this is Q2. So, it means that price of a commodity decreases in this example. So, what will happen? This is the original price, now this is the original quantity, this is the new price level and this is the new quantity demanded by the consumer. So, elasticity refers to the percentage change in quantity demanded due to the percentage change in price. So, this is the formula, this is the symbolic notation of the price elasticity of demand, which is equal to change in Q divided by change in P multiply P over Q. So, the formula remains the same, just we will change the value. The original answer was minus 1 over 2. in this case we will see that what will be the answer. So Q2, we are substituting these values in this formula. Q2 is 200 minus Q1, 150 divided by P2 minus P1, P2, 2 minus 3, multiply by P over Q. P is the original price. Now this is the original price. In this example, $3 is the original price. So 3 divided by Q, original quantity, 150. 200 minus 150, 50, 2 minus 3, minus 1, multiply 3 divided by 150. So 50, this is 1, this is 3. It means 1 divided by minus 1 multiply 3 divided by 3. These will be cancel out with each other, 3 will cancel with 3. So the answer is minus 1. And here is 1 divided by minus 1, it means minus 1. So minus 1 multiply 1, minus 1. Now look at this value. This value is totally different from the previous value. The previous value was minus 1 over 2 and this value is minus 1. So what is the conclusion? The conclusion is that in the case of increase in price, the answer was minus 1 over 2, and now in the case of a decrease in price, the answer is minus 1. It means that if the price increases or decreases, the result on the change in quantity demanded is different. For the point price elasticity of demand, this is the basic issue, because in the case of point price elasticity of demand, if the price increases or decreases, even though all the values on the prices and the quantity demanded are the same. For example, we didn't change these values, the price values are the same, similarly the quantity values are the same. So I didn't change these values, but I have just changed the price levels, that this was the new and this was the original, and same is the case with the change in quantity demanded. So it means that if price decreases or price increases, the value of the price elasticity of demand in the case of point price elasticity of demand is different. So how to solve this problem? Because in the case of a decrease in price, the value of the price elasticity of demand is minus 1, while in the case of an increase in price, the value of the price elasticity of demand was minus 1 over 2, which is equal to minus 0.5, which is half of this value. So how to solve this problem? In order to avoid this problem, we are using the concept of arc price elasticity of demand in economics or in managerial economics. That's why today this is the basic objective of my lecture, and I am going to cover this lecture that how arc price elasticity of demand will solve this issue. So let me go for the arc price elasticity of demand, but first I am going to define the concept of the arc price elasticity of demand, and then we will see that how this concept will solve our problem. So arc price elasticity of demand, so let me write it simply. It refers to the change in quantity demanded It refers the price elasticity of demand. It refers the price elasticity on a demand curve, the price elasticity of demand. It refers the price elasticity of demand between two distinct points on a demand curve. This is the basic difference between the point and the arc price elasticity of demand, that it measures the price elasticity of demand between the two distinct points on the demand curve. For example, this is a demand curve. This is price in dollars, and suppose this is quantity. This is the demand curve DD. For example, this is point A and this is point B. This is the change in price level, and this is the change in quantity. This is the change in quantity and this is the change in price. So, from point A to point B or from point B to point A, what is the responsiveness? How we will measure this change? Because these are two distinct points on the same demand curve. How we will measure the elasticity? So, if we have the case of two distinct points on the same demand curve, we will use the concept of arc price elasticity of demand to measure the elasticity, to measure the responsiveness in the change, to measure the responsiveness in the change in quantity demanded caused by a change in the level of price. So, that is why we are saying that the arc price elasticity of demand refers the price elasticity of demand between two distinct points on a demand curve. So, this formula takes the averages of quantity demanded as well as per prices. So, let me write the original formula. This is the symbol for the elasticity, price elasticity of demand. So, mean for the price elasticity of demand, for the point price elasticity of demand as well as for the arc price elasticity of demand, we are using the same symbol. P denotes the price and this symbol denotes the elasticity. So, mean this is the notation or symbol for the price elasticity of demand. Change in Q divided by change in P multiply. We are using averages. So, averages of the price level as well as quantity, P2 plus P1 divided by 2. We are taking the average of the two prices, P2 and P1. P1 is the original price, P2 is the new price, divided by 2. It means we are taking the average of these two prices. Similarly, for output Q2 plus Q1 divided by 2. It means the average of quantity demanded. Okay, we can also write it as change in quantity demanded. We know that it is equal to Q2 minus Q1. Change in price P2 minus P1. Multiply this expression P2 plus P1 whole divided by 2, Q2 plus Q1 whole divided by 2. Now look at this expression. We can cross 2 from this expression. So we can write the remaining expression as Q2 minus Q1 divided by P2 minus P1 multiply P2 plus P1 Q2 plus Q1. This is the formula for the arc price elasticity of demand. We will use this formula for the measurement of the arc price elasticity of demand. We can measure the arc price elasticity of demand from this formula. Now, I am going to show you that how this formula will solve the problem of the point price elasticity of demand. In the previous example, we have different values of the price elasticity of demand, but now with the help of this formula, we are going to show that how this formula will solve the problem. Suppose I am taking values, for example, I have the value of P1 which is $4 and P2 which is $3, Q1 200 units, and Q2 is equal to 300 units. So P1, this is the original price, P2, this is the new price, Q1, this is the original quantity, Q2, this is the new quantity. Now I am substituting these values in this formula in order to find out the value of the arc price elasticity of demand. So by substituting these values, the formula, let me write it again. This is the formula Q2 minus Q1 divided by P2 minus P1 multiply P2 plus P1 whole divided by Q2 plus Q1. This is the arc price elasticity formula. So now I am substituting these values. Substituting the given values, we get Q2 minus Q1. Q2, this is Q2 300 minus 200 divided by P2 minus P1. P2 is $3 minus $2 multiply by P2 plus P1. P2, $3 plus $2. Q2 plus Q1. Q2 is 300 plus Q1 200. So 300 minus 200. The answer is 100. $3 minus $2. $1 multiply $3 plus $2. $5, 300 plus 200. 500. Cancelling these values with each other. 5. So this is the this is not 2, this is P1 is 4 and P2 is 3. So this is P1 is 4, this is not, this is not 2 and 3. Let me write it again. I have used the wrong value. Q2 minus Q1, Q2 minus Q1, 300 minus 200 divided by P2 minus P1, P2 $3 minus P1 $4 multiply by P2 plus P1, P2 plus P1 $3 plus $4 divided by Q2 plus Q1, 300 plus 200. So subtracting 200 from 300, we can get 100. And here is the minus 1. $3 minus $4, minus 1 multiply $3 plus $4, $7, and this is 500. This is 1, this is 5. It equals to 1 divided by minus 1. So we can write it minus 1 multiply 7 divided by 5. It means minus 7 divided by 5. Divided by minus 5. If we solve this value, we can get minus 1 over 4. Minus 1 over 4. This is the value of the arc price elasticity of demand in the case of a decrease in price. We are assuming a decrease in price because this is the original price and this is the new price. So the price of the commodity decreases from $4 to $3. So this is the case of a decrease in the price level. So this is the answer, minus 1 over 4. Now we are going to check for the inverse case. For the case of inverse moment. Inverse moment means now I am changing just these subscripts. This was P1, now this is P2 and this is P1. This is Q2 and this is Q1. So in this case the price increases from 3 to 4. P1 is $3, which is the original price. P2 is $4, which is the new price. So at P1 the consumer consumes 300 units. At P2 he will consume 200 units. So it means that if price increases, the quantity demanded decreases. So now price increases, in the result quantity demanded of X decreases. So this is the case of an increase in price. Price increases from $3 to $4. In the result, quantity demanded decreases from 300 units to 200 units. Now we are substituting these values in this formula. I can write as Q2 200 minus Q1 300 divided by P2 4 $4 minus $3 multiply by P2 plus P1, P2 $4 plus $3 divided by Q2 plus Q1, 200 units plus 300 units. So this is minus 100 divided by 4 minus 3 $1 with a plus sign, multiply by $7 divided by 500. It means we can multiply these terms with each other and similarly these terms. So minus 100 multiply 7 minus 700 divided by 5. We can write minus 7 divided by 5 or minus 1.4. This is the value of the arc price elasticity of demand. Now look at this value. In the original case, the value of the arc price elasticity of demand was minus 1/4, and similarly in this case the value of the arc price elasticity of demand is also minus 1/4. So it means that in the case of arc price elasticity of demand, the value of the price elasticity of demand will be the same whether the price increases or decreases. How we will interpret this value? What is the interpretation of this value? What does it mean? So as we know that minus sign is due to the law of demand, as the relationship between price and quantity demanded is inverse. That's why we have a negative sign with this numerical value. So how we will interpret this value? So it means that between two distinct points on the demand curve, a 1% change in price results on average in a 1.4% opposite change in quantity demanded. So means, for example, let me give you a graphical example. For example, this is price, this is Q, this is the demand curve. This was point A and this is point B. This was change in price and this was change in quantity demanded. So we are moving from point A to point B or from point B to point A along the same demand curve, because this is a change in price. So if price decreases, we will move from point A to point B. If price increases, again we will move from point B to point A. So what does it mean? If a 1% change in price occur, if price changes by 1%, it means change in price is 1%. So change in quantity demanded will be 1.4%. 1.4%, it means more than 1%. If price increases by 1%, suppose if the price of a commodity increases by 1%, its quantity demand will be decreased by 1.4%. If the price of a commodity decreases by 1%, it means that on the average the quantity demanded will be increased by 1.4% because due to the negative relationship. So this was the interpretation, and when we interpret this value, we will use the word on average because this is the formula which we have deduced from the original average formula. So this was the basic interpretation of the price elasticity of demand. But keep one thing in mind, that the price elasticity, the elasticity of the demand curve, that the firm spaces is larger than the price elasticity of the corresponding market demand curve, because the firm faces competition from similar commodities from rival firms, while there are few if any close substitutes for the industry products from other industries. It means that, for example, if we have an industry and in the industry a firm faces competition, there are many rivals within the same industry. So the price elasticity of demand for a particular firm will be larger due to the availability of more substitute within the specific industry. But if we look at, on the other hand, if we look at the demand curve of the market, it means the whole industry. So the price elasticity of demand will be relatively smaller as compared to the particular firm, because for the whole industry there are very few close substitutes. So in that case the price elasticity of demand will be lower as compared to the particular firm where there are many rivals within the industry. So a particular firm faces competition, there are many rivals within the industry, so he is always facing competition from other rivals. That's why the price elasticity of demand for a particular firm as compared to the specific industry is totally different. It is hoped that now you have a clear understanding of the difference between the point price elasticity of demand as well as the arc price elasticity of demand, and now you are able to know that why the value of the arc price elasticity of demand in the case of price changes, increase or decrease, is different, and the case of arc price, in the case of arc price elasticity of demand, the value which we derive from after the price change is the same. So mean we are using the averages of both prices as well as the quantities in this formula. So the arc price elasticity of demand formula is able to solve the problem caused by the point price elasticity of demand. So this was the concept of the arc price elasticity of demand, the difference between the point and arc price elasticity of demand, how we will measure the price elasticity of demand caused by a change in price, and now we are able to find out that how these values are same by using the arc price elasticity of demand. So it is hoped that now you have a clear idea. Thank you so much.